evening, all you minties, and welcome back to another episode of Reelz Talk with your host, the amazing Amanda, my lovely co-host, the Uncanny Omar.
What's going on, everybody? Today we are talking about what? I'm asking you, Amanda. What are we talking about?
You are. That'd be Ms. Marvel, the season finale, and we'll give our overall grade for the entire season as well, since we're here on this show live talking to you guys. So, yeah, we're going to talk about the season finale, break it down, give our review, and then talk about, obviously, if you have watched this, then you've seen the ending. You've seen the end credits scene. There is one. If you have not watched it and you care about spoilers, just, go watch it and come back and watch this stream a little bit later because we will be talking about spoilers because we have to talk about that end credits scene. We have to talk about the ending of this season finale episode. And, of course, all of that will then segue into a discussion of what it means for Phase 4 and then the potential of what Phase 5 looks like. Because we're, getting close to, we're halfway through Phase 4, right? So we're at towards the end for MCU heading into Phase 5. And what do we think that Phase 5 is really going to kick off with? So, hello, everyone.
Sean
the Suck. I haven't seen you in forever.
I'm here too, man. Oh, okay, there we go. That's better.
Oh,
that's better.
I missed you. Hey, Matt, how's it going?
What's up, Matt? How's everybody doing?
Jeffy Likes Comics. All of our old faithfulers are here today. I'm so excited.
Not age, just
because you've been with us for so long.
Look at you, man. You ain't even watched the show, but he's joining us just because he missed us.
Yeah. All right. For my clever Chick-fil-A placement. I'm just kidding. Who's not paying for this episode? Because if they were, I'd be just sit here doing this the whole time.
I actually really enjoyed Miss Marvel, despite thinking I'd hate it after seeing the childish trailers and never having read a Miss Marvel comic. Interesting. Hey, Sarah, Sarah. Finished the episode, so now we get to talk about it. And
exactly.
So we didn't review episodes 5. We figured we'd do kind of like a series wrap up and talk about the series as a whole. And the series, kind of what Brian said, to me always had this tone of like teenage type of storytelling in the way that it moved. And it was one of the fastest moving shows for the MCU, though.
Yes.
The MCU TV shows on Disney Plus seem to have been moving slow, but this one moved at a pretty fast pace. And I think at points it moved way too fast. I'm like, oh, because within episodes 4 and 5, I think it's when they kind of started losing me because I like the grounded aspect of the show at the beginning of, hey, it's a brand new girl. She's got these powers she doesn't know about. Let's go on this ride together. And then by episode 4, we're traveling the world. She's tied to genies, maybe the Jinn.
Yeah.
But then it could be the clandestine. So she could be that. We find out that her great grandmother that found the
found the bracelet. Yeah.
On what looks like to be a dead Kree soldier. So she could have ties to that. And then we get the ending of this episode.
Yeah. Well, don't forget we get a flashback where she's transported in time.
And start this right now with a disclosure that we are going to be talking about spoilers. So at the bottom, I'm going to put Miss Marvel episode 6 spoilers, but altogether we're talking about the entire season.
Wonderful play on word there, Tapsologic. Yes. That makes it
very nice.
I don't like gin and tonic, but I would for that play on words. Wonderfully done.
MCU, oh my gosh,
The MCUification
will make Kamala a mutant in the comics and make her join Krakoa. Question mark. I do have feelings and thoughts about the ending, but first let's talk about the series. Let's talk about the series. What we enjoyed about it, what we did not like about it. I think I kind of went over a little bit of that. What about you, Amanda? What did you think of the series? And had you read a Miss Marvel comic? Not that it really helps.
Yeah, because you let me borrow your oversized hardcover, I think.
It was the omnibus.
The omnibus,
one of the lucky few people that I let borrow my omnibus.
Yes, he said, "Don't ruin this." So yes, I had a chance to read the comic. So I was really excited for the show, and I absolutely loved the actors in this. I even told Omar, even the casting down to the parents was so perfect to me. Even the agents, Devers and the gentleman, I can't remember his name, but perfect casting all the way around. Kamala is fantastic. I love Imani. Iman, is it Iman Vellani, right? Yeah, Iman. She's phenomenal.
Oh,
She
she
just
she was a fan of the comics of Miss Marvel, and when we talk about the ending, I want to I want to know what she thinks herself, because she loves the comic book character. So to get a chance to play the character
Mhm.
as a fan of an Avenger within the universe, that's like a dream come true.
Oh yeah,
She
I
dressed
agree.
up like she cosplayed as Miss Marvel. This is the most adorable story when it comes to an actress. This is her first acting role, playing a character.
Yes.
Adorable. I don't think, as far as I'm concerned, I don't think of any other. This is almost like a Disney princess type of story when it comes to like behind the scenes of her getting the chance to play this particular role. She melted my heart, and it could be because I have two little girls who both of them have read Miss Marvel. So I was like, okay, I'm hooked from the first episode.
Yeah. But no, I agree with you. I mean, well, and for me, it wasn't a matter of, yeah, I have two little girls too, but they're a lot younger than
Mhm.
Kamala is, so they don't. But I resonate with her as a fan, as a female fan, definitely, and as being a young girl like her at one point, just obsessed with something. In her case, it's Captain Marvel. Mine were different obsessions, but nevertheless, my room looked a lot like her. It was fan fiction, not drawings, because I'm a terrible drawer. Something that my daughter apparently did not inherit from me, thankfully. So it was just great to see her character on screen and see it, just her being in high school. Like a lot of stuff that everyone complained about with the earlier Spider-Man movies, like we just want to see Peter with like be a high school
Right.
student, right? And so we get to see that with her, just being this high school student. And yeah, of course, if you live in the MCU world, why wouldn't you be a fan of these superheroes unless you are, not a fan of the superheroes because you're an old person who has, can't like relate to them or just find them to be a nuisance. But she isn't. She's a young girl, so why wouldn't you be a fan? That makes complete sense to me. I mean, even Peter
And it's
Parker
not
was
just her, right? It's like her entire family are fans of the. Remember, her dad was cosplaying as the Hulk, like Big
yeah,
Hulk, or was it Big Hulk, Little Hulk?
big
And
Hulk,
she's
little
like,
Hulk. Yeah,
there is
he was
no
so
Big
excited.
Hulk, Little. Like,
Yeah,
I love. Okay, that's one thing we haven't really touched upon, except earlier when we reviewed some of the earlier episodes. But the family dynamic has to
mhm.
be, to me, one of the best in the MCU.
Best portrayed for
Because
sure.
most of the families, I mean, that's what happens with characters, right? Uh,
Yeah,
long before there was this talk of women in refrigerators, there were dead parents, dead uncles. That's how
yep.
you became a superhero. That's what made
Mhm.
you a superhero, right?
Dead brothers. I mean, it could go.
Her, your girlfriends. Well, that became
Yeah,
like the crutch. But anyway, what I was gonna say is like her family is all together and they're all supportive. Like it's crazy. Oh man, the moment on the rooftop of this scene of this particular episode got me, with her dad telling
when he's
her,
talking about
like
the
pretty
name.
much giving her the name Miss Marvel and what
Yeah.
Kamala means.
Yes.
Oh, I was
I did have to look that up to verify that. That's
is
like,
it true? Because I don't
yeah,
remember
I
what
looked it
Kamala
up. I
said.
was like, I just want to make sure in Urdu is that what's what it is, and loosely, yes, yeah,
Hmm.
yeah,
That was cute. Her mom making the costume, because remember they touched upon her mom being a great seamstress in the first episode when she wanted to go to the convention.
yes.
Adorable. Kind of reminds me of like Paul and Ma Kent in a way, in the way they treated Superman. You know, their son
Well, and
making.
that's that Americana because that's what they did, right? Then
Mhm.
she build or create the first costume for her, Mom Pa Kent or Ma Kent. Didn't
Yeah,
like
I mean, depending on what
which
version
one
of
you're looking at,
Superman,
right?
but
There's
yeah,
that idea, yeah,
and not only just the parents, but just like the community, the Muslim community that centers around these characters.
yep,
And again, it's one of those things that, to me, that like isn't really forced. It's not the center of the story. She just happens to be Muslim,
yeah,
and that's it. That's in the back. It doesn't mean, it doesn't really. I think we had somebody in the chat during our first review, and they found it offensive towards the Muslim culture, and I really didn't see that. But I'm also,
yeah.
I'm learning through this show a lot
It
of
was
things.
interesting. So we had two people in the chat. One who they're both were Muslim, I believe, and they had differing opinions about the portrayal of Muslims. It was really interesting to see that.
Yeah.
But you could say that about a lot of
I
people.
think so too. I think that can, when you're looking at things, that you can look at it objectively
Or
differently
not,
than
yeah.
somebody else. But I thought the dynamic between her and her family was great. They were supportive. Really weird to kind of push the daughter. Like I feel like my moment was taken from me when they find out that she was Miss Marvel. Like we didn't really get to see that.
Yeah.
And like I was like, oh, I kind of wanted to see that. But I also like oh yeah, we know your mom.
Well, I love that because it's so realistic when they're like, how do you find out before I could tell you? And it's because dad keeps his phone on speaker. And I was like, old men, am I right? They can't hear. So
Yeah. What do you mean? You mean older than us? Like old
I'm sure,
dude.
look at how old their brother is. So, I mean, he even said they tried really hard for a second one and had issues. So he's not, you're definitely younger than he is. Don't worry, Omar.
Okay. Thanks.
But no, I mean, just that whole dynamic. I love that scene. Now, I will say she sewed that thing pretty fast. Like, did she do it?
She's got some mad.
Like,
skills.
when did it happen? That was a really fast sewing.
We don't know how long it happened.
Well, I imagine, like, I'm trying to figure out the timeline of when. So Cameron got his power. So Cameron got his powers from his mom at the end of episode 5, and met up with Bruno at the end of episode 5. And then, of course, they were being chased by the end of episode 5 by Department of Damage Control. And at the same time that was going on, they must have been
I never should have told anybody about I needed readers. Damn it. Now I take it back. You don't see me with readers right now. I can see your dumbass comment. Just fine. Go ahead.
Yeah, but then they must have been on the plane when all that happened. So then the transfer of the powers. I'm still trying to figure. It doesn't matter. I guess I'm not going to get technical in the timeline. Either way, it's beautiful that she made that outfit for her. I think it was perfect, especially because she had her emblem in there from her jewelry, and it was perfect the way that just went down. But yeah, and I loved that you saw the community and her friends rallying around her in the end in this final episode.
Oh, yeah. Kind of reminded me a little bit of what I thought was right about Spider-Man or Amazing Spider-Man 1 when they were fighting off the lizard, like in that one part.
And they had all the firefighters turn the cranes right so he could swing through them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was nice. So it's this community. I thought that was a really nice touch.
Exactly.
Now, there are things I loved about it. And then there were things that just did not work with me. So I think for me, I wanted the show to stay grounded, but instead,
it got
we
real
went in this weird, convoluted way of like, and I don't know about you or anybody else that's watching right now, but to me, it felt like, do the showrunner, like, do they know what they want to do with this character? Because like for a little bit, like it's like, okay, like I wasn't kidding when I said like they found this Kree thing. They have the whole clandestine thing. The Inhuman thing might be there,
Or is it
what kind of mutation are we talking about?
Yeah.
Because then at the very end of this episode, is the big I did appreciate the use of her
I have the pictures.
Oh yeah, let's pull those.
Yeah, up. Like right here so that's what I love about that final scene.
Nice.
When she used her embiggen powers in a way, right? Where she was like walking, like really on tall legs and using the big arms. And I thought that was well done for the use of the light and making it still look like she had the power she has in the comics, just a little bit differently. So I'm glad they still paid homage to that.
We got your pictures, Tavon.
Yeah, so Tavon.
It was nice to see this. What she the embiggen, like what she uses in the comics, and almost looks like it, right? Like stretchy powers. At one point, I'm like, oh my god, are they gonna make her big? That's gonna be cool. But it feels more like armor. Like from as soon as I saw this, like that crystallized armor, like armor from the X-Men. So I thought this scene was really cool. Whenever she had both of them underneath it.
Yes.
And you get the display of different colors in there.
Beautifully, yes, shot.
And she kind of like, and this is the other thing that kind of bothered me. It's like they never really decided which way to go. Are we going to have a villain? Or are we not going to have a villain and let's just tell a story?
It almost sounds the villain, which I thought from the beginning of the season was going to be Damage Control. So when they brought in Clandestine, and all of a sudden there was this quick turn in episode 3 we're introduced to the clandestine at the same time, then also introduced to the fact that Cameron's mom is a villain and the rest of the clandestine are villains because they need the bracelets to go home, right? So immediately there was that switch. I was like, oh, this is not the direction I thought this show was going. And then it led to them traveling overseas, and then it led to her a big fight that accidentally sent her back, rolling back into time. Then we got a whole episode basically in the past that immediately ended.
I'm not complaining about that episode because that lady was fine.
Well, she's beautiful. Yes.
She's a beautiful woman.
She was very beautiful. But that it ended back in the present really fast with the destruction of all the clandestine, right?
Yeah.
Except for Kamran, who got his mother's powers so that now he has the power to... Does he have the power to open the door? Or is it just that he now has the power she imbued upon him so that she protect him? So I said, where's it going? But then it came back to what I originally thought, which was that damage control is the villain, or at least one damage control person who clearly might have a little bit of a prejudice, but yeah, they turned out to be the main villain of the show.
And I think that's when I started thinking, okay, I don't know if the showrunners know what they want Kamala to be or what they want this show to be. And I almost got those kind of like Moon Knight vibes, which was my biggest issue with Moon Knight. Because there are some good episodes in there. But I thought, when we got to episode 6, I thought it stuck to its landings. Like, I thought it was a better episode. It was definitely better than 4 and 5.
Yes,
4
and
5. Yeah. It seems like the budget went all into this particular episode with the fight sequences, and you no longer, most of the time whenever she would use her powers, it's like people's reaction shots to her powers to save a little bit of money. Instead of her, actually doing things, you just see the facial expressions on her supporting cast going, "Wow, I can't believe you walked out," like that.
You walked on.
So I did appreciate that they brought in, the special effects for this particular episode.
Yes.
I like that all the kids kind of teamed up. So this kind of shows you a different type of character, right? Like, she really sucks at having a secret identity because, like, her family knows, the kids know, her brother shows up at the school to help with this ridiculous idea of, like, let's all hide in hoodies. You get a little bit of chemistry between Chloe and what is her name? I cannot remember. Her Kamala's friend from the beginning.
Oh, Nakia.
Yeah, which is from the comic books, right? Like, they were. It's more than like a little crush in the comics. So
it was weird how Zoe showed up, like, in this particular episode. How she showed up to help. It was
she just knows.
Yeah, she just knows that she has to be there. That was a little weird, but it's fine. I mean, for me, it's like it's a teen show, and those are things I expect that the person that you least expect would know to show up at that moment to be there to help out.
Let me read a comment really quick, and then we'll come back to this. When Kamala's dad said, "I love you," I was like, well, there goes my suspension of disbelief. Kamala's mom, well-intentioned passive-aggressive behavior in the first 4 episodes is 100% good Asian parenting. Mom and dad are a little bit different, that's for sure. And I'm saying that I think the series is a prelude.
And that's where I think...
obviously, towards the end of this.
Because we get to that end credit scene. But I think that's where they had the issues of what were they trying to make the show. Because obviously the Marvels will be a very big space adventure-y type epic feel to it. Because we're going to have Photon, we're going to have Captain Marvel. Now we're having Ms. Marvel in it. God knows who else is going to show up. And I'm assuming we're going to see the Scroll again. I'm assuming what's his name will be back. Ben, I can't think of his name, but that gentleman will be back.
Sir Ben Kingsley?
Nope. The gentleman who played the lead Scroll in Captain Marvel.
Oh, that guy's great.
I love.
Let me get Amanda on. She would know. Ben Zimmerman? I don't
know. No,
remember.
It's something like that.
It's something like that.
Anyways, but I think that's the problem. They wanted to keep it grounded to really address the show. Like, I think Roberto Rodriguez says the villain of the show is social commentary, which to a degree it is, right? Where they do bring up a lot of that in that final episode with Damage Control walking through the mosque, and they have all their IDs right because they already know, and that's the way they kind of get them to leave the mosque. And just when she's there with all of her, SWAT team, and you have that entire Muslim community and everyone's on their phones and filming everything. And so I see a little bit of that being the social commentary. So they wanted to keep it grounded in that level, but they also have to make it lead up to this Marvel's epic space adventure, which I'm assuming these bands, her background, all of that's going to play a part. And at this point, will that somehow lead into mutants? And when we get to phase 5, it's just a further push to mutants. I don't know. Or humans.
Let's talk about the elephant in the room. And of course, we are
Ben Mendelsohn. There you go.
Good detective skills. So when the battle is all said and done, what's her name gets fired from damage control, I assume, or she's going to go and join the Thunderbolts. I don't know. We get a week goes by, and Kamala's saying bye to Bruno, and because he's leaving, and
Cameron's car with him.
And it's kind of, which is not, that was a nice touch. Cameron's over there with the red dagger, so I assume he's going to join them. So we get this little thing that I feel like, damn it, it almost feels like they added it at the last second, and I don't know why, because I don't know if this was the intent, but the line is like, hey, that test I did on you earlier, it seems like, there is something a little wonky with your DNA. One could say a mutation. And then you get the little 97 X-Men animated series guitar riff. So, I mean, mutation could have been taken. Mutation does exist in the real world. I mean, sadly, it's, most of the time it's think of cancer. But it kind of, saying the word mutation leaves it open to, okay, well, still could be in humans, right? Terrigen Mist could still come and activate her powers
further,
but throwing it with the guitar riff, that was almost like, are they really trying to seal the deal? Like, no, we are talking about mutants.
So here, another thing I thought, or is it just a little Easter egg because they're going to announce some stuff about the upcoming X-Men 97 coming out on Disney Plus? Is this just they're like, we're teasing you guys, it's not really mutation what you think it is, but hey, don't forget we are doing X-Men 97 again. It's coming back out, right? New episodes.
I mean, that is the second time this year that we've seen, or I'm sorry, we've heard the cartoon theme.
Yep.
So I don't know. Like I said, it almost feels like at the last second they added that in there. But she throws it off. What is she? I can't remember her line. I thought it was pretty funny the way that she goes.
Basically, she was like, "Doesn't matter. They'll always put a label on me. It just matters about who I am. Like it doesn't matter what label. It's just another label." Is what she said. Yeah. So
and that's kind of where it ends, right? Like, and then that's the season. And then we get the mid-credit scene, which we kind of all figured was going to come. I assume. I'm glad that they kept this particular character towards the very end, and of course, I'm talking about Captain Marvel, Miss Brie Larson, because I didn't want her to come in and save the day because we've already seen that with Endgame. I like Kamala dealing with her own issues, and so in an interesting turn of event. By the way, she's looking great in this.
Yeah, she is.
She's I don't.
She's been working out like a fiend, but I do love.
Well, I was gonna say she looks less buff. I don't want to.
I would say I thought the same thing too, but I think she
looks more feminine and like when she came back in Endgame.
Yeah,
not her haircut, but just the way that she looked. She looked almost very masculine built.
Here's again for people who haven't seen it.
But in this, she looks really slim. I don't know. Her hair looks different.
I do like her hair like that. So
now,
easy to cosplay as her. Okay.
What does that mean? Does that mean that
did she go transfer?
Yeah, somebody, actually one of my viewers messaged me, did you watch it? Why did she become Captain Marvel? Which didn't even enter my head. Like, did she shapeshift in the Captain Marvel is what he was saying.
Mm-hmm.
And I assume, if you read the comics, that's kind of like the first thing she did with her powers subconsciously was become Captain Marvel. I think what they're gonna do is it looks like because of the band, because it was, beeping, and then she swiveled into the closet. It seems like they're gonna go the Rick Jones the original Captain Marvel, OG Captain Marvel route, where they would trade places, which led, of course, Captain Marvel would just be hanging out in the negative zone, like, come on, Rick Jones, I need to get out. Rick Jones would be like, all right, come go, Captain Marvel, get my ass whooped, get out here and help me. Now, it could be that route. Oh my God, that would be cool. And we can talk about hypotheses for whatever the Marvels will bring. Or it could be just that Kamala is wherever Captain Marvel was. Maybe she was fighting somebody, she touched something, and now she's here. Because it looks like the way she's looking at the room, she's like, what did she say? Oh, no. Something like that, right? Like,
yes.
Maybe, yeah. So interesting because, we're looking at the band, and again, Kree Fallen Soldier, so Kree relation to Captain Marvel.
Yes.
Yeah, I knew somebody was going to mention Quasar with the. I don't think it's Quasar bands, man. I think it's just coincidence with the Kree.
Yeah,
technology that they're using, but we'll see.
Yeah, it's really exciting to see where it goes now.
Amanda, Captain Marvel cosplay. Fun fact, because I know Amanda loves to use those words.
I do.
For our thumbnail for the Miss Marvel review, Captain Marvel review, apologies. She did cosplay as Captain Marvel.
Well, at least I wore a Captain Marvel.
Shut up, that's cosplay. Yeah. You have blonde hair.
I had blonde hair, which I didn't have to do much to change. It just is what it is. So it worked out really well.
Dude, I don't want to give your secret identity away, but if you could write me that song the next time we meet face to face, that would be music to my ears, my brother. What's up, Project Viking? What's all this nonsense about her being the first mutant? Y'all fools not seeing the multiverse of madness?
True. We've already had a mutant in the MCU, and that was good old.
Was it though? Was he?
What
hey,
else
that was a different
mutant?
Yo, hear me out. That was a different Earth. He could have been just a dude that fell into some radioactive waste and gotten.
He used his mind.
People fall into nuclear waste all the time and get superpowers.
Oh no. Oh my goodness. But yeah, so this final episode overall, I was really pleased with it because after the last two episodes, I was a little disappointed. Like, we were talking about how the pace was moving really quickly. And I thought, whoa, now we're going too quickly, because I envisioned that whole segment when they were in Pakistan and she goes back in time. That could have been a whole season explored within itself, right? Just going on about her backstory and where she came from and how those powers and her family emerged. The whole first season could have just been them fighting its damage control. That's what I had envisioned as she grew to learn her powers. But I'm okay a little bit with how this kind of ended up turning out. It bait and switched you on who the villains were, and though I had called it that'd be damage control, so I guess it really didn't bait and switch me, but it did kind of change on its heels about who the villain could be, and it was a great family story at the end of the day between her and her mother, and that acceptance of her just being different, and her mom having to, accept who she is, what she loves, and things like that. So, yeah, I think I was okay with that at the end of the day, even though it seemed a little fast how quickly those two episodes, we just switched gears all of a sudden.
Mm-hmm. I liked a lot of the show. I liked a lot of the actors. I kind of liked that whole history lesson and giving her own identity. So it almost feels like, why does she have to be a mutant? Why couldn't she be something special?
Yeah.
Why couldn't it have ties to her whole family? And I thought you kind of take away the special if you're like, oh, you were just born with a, mutant gene. Congratulations. Yeah. So, like I said, I don't know. I don't think it's a done deal. I mean, even though they kind of play it as it, she could still be an Inhuman.
Honestly, I think they're waiting to see what the fan reaction is. That's why they hinted at it, but then had her say what she said.
I don't think so. I think it's whatever it's already been decided. Uh, because it feels like in this particular MCU we are going Inhumanless as of now.
Even though we did get a Black Bolt cameo, we're
Never
still.
said he was an Inhuman, right?
That's
Never.
true. They never said
It's
he was
weird.
Inhuman.
But honestly, we've seen this kind of treatment before. We've seen it in the comics when Fox owned X-Men and the Fantastic Four. So Marvel Comics at the time, it was rumored that they were like, okay, we're canceling Fantastic Four and the X-Men titles are going to be cut. We don't want to get people to, go and watch those movies because those movies don't belong to us.
Yeah.
I mean, they changed God bless. So, the people that are upset, like, oh, how do I feel about her being a mutant? I'm like, dude, I kind of stopped caring about these things when they made Wanda freaking Inhuman and Quicksilver. Like, that was years ago. At that point, I was like,
Oh, in the
whatever.
comics.
Dude, people are going to do whatever they want to do. Retcons are going to happen, and it's going to happen in movies too. So, but to talk about this particular show, ups and downs for sure. I wanted to be the best. Like, I had a lot of hope. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to keep this highlight. I wanted to come back to that comment. I wanted this to be the best Marvel show because to me it could have been. Like, those first 2 episodes were so good, and I was just loving it. It was just so full of love and passion and just, I don't know, warmed my heart. And then we got to episode 3 and it became like your standard MCU show, 3, 4, and 5. And then they kind of brought it back home with 6. So yeah, ups and downs. It could have been better. But the actress, she's gold. She's great.
That should be a great addition to the MCU.
Honestly, the supporting cast was good. I didn't have an issue with anybody.
I would love to. I mean, I'm excited to see where their stories go in season 2. I'm assuming this will be one of the shows they'll make.
So has it been rumors, or are we talking season 2 for sure?
This is definitely one that's, I believe they're going to do multiple seasons of, it makes sense. The cast itself, it's young, it's inexpensive, right? It's not Oscar Isaacs, who has been nominated for Oscars, and it's Ethan Hawke. Well, he's gone, he says, or so he says. It's not, Scarlet Witch, and it's not Jeremy Renner, because he's in the next one, his music in the next Hawkeye, if they did that. So I think that they would do more episodes or more seasons, just like Loki. We need a couple of them where there's more seasons than just one. Loki's getting a season 2. This one will get a season 2. All right.
Oh, honestly, I would love to see a season 2 and expanding on those characters, because I don't want those characters to be, forgotten. I actually like. Oh, yeah. It's nice to have a character with a family that is still alive and still it's not dysfunctional, which happens to a lot of superhero families.
And not everyone has died off
or
by a supervillain or something.
So for anybody that has seen the show, and to my wonderful co-host, let's rate it.
All right.
Let's just rate the entire show.
Okay, that's fine. Good with me.
Because I think that's fair. So, episodes 1 through 6 out of 10. What would you give this show? Amazing Amanda, and anybody that's watching.
So overall, I really enjoyed the show. Minus the episodes 4 and 5 that I felt just kind of went slightly different than where I expected the show to go and kind of took me out of the story a little bit. It righted itself in that final episode. So I think I would give it a strong 8 out of 10 for sure.
8 out of 10. Excellent. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I had a lot of fun with it. I thought it was one of the better Marvel shows. It definitely could have been better. Unfortunately, when you have a third of the show just not being good, it kind of really dings at the score. Mm-hmm. So for me, this is it's a 7 out of 10. I think and don't get me wrong, I think episodes 1 and 2 were probably some of the best MCU stuff that we've seen in Disney Plus. And episode 6 was probably, if I had to rate episode 6 by itself, it definitely would have been like an 8.5 and 9.
Oh yeah.
But the series as a whole, 7. Fun. I'll rewatch it. But definitely had some issues. Now, what does this all mean? Mutant.
Yeah.
What is this? What does this mean? I'm gonna put the band. Well, I'll keep the.
What does it all mean? Did you make a banner that says "What does it all mean"?
No. Like I'm gonna go through
Real
the
quick,
different. Go ahead.
no, someone was asking earlier, Matt. So after She-Hulk, what's next? So show we do have a little bit of a break, right, with Marvel shows.
What if season 2 comes out? Right.
That's right. So after, so
Well,
basically, well, first we're gonna get the I Am Groot shorts. They come out August 10th. So if you're really into Groot, you want to see some Groot shorts, you're gonna get your fill. Starting August 10th. Then we have August 17th is She-Hulk. And then it looks like after that, the next TV show right now, I want to say is either going to be, what is it? It's either going to be the Untitled Halloween special might be coming out, but if before then, I'm wondering if they've.
So Werewolf by Night.
Yeah, Werewolf by Night. They haven't given it official title yet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but we still have. So I know Echo, I believe, is filming. We know Loki season 2 because we've already started seeing leaked footage of them filming that. Ironheart, in other news, actually has a casting update. So Alden, oh gosh, I can't pronounce the last name. Alden Eldrick, the gentleman who played young Han Solo in the Solo Star Wars movie,
okay,
has been casted in Ironheart. So of course that means that's not completely done. So we're not going to see that yet appear on the on Disney Plus.
So nothing.
People are thinking he might be Obadiah Stane's son.
Okay.
Because there's rumors the plot's going to involve technology bros is like that's the thing.
I gotcha. I knew what you meant.
You got me. So I'm still hopeful for Harley showing up and I get my Iron Lad. So I'm still hopeful he's gonna show up.
I think the only people excited for that kid showing up in any of the MCU movies are you, him, and his parents for that one.
And his fan base is very dedicated on Instagram.
Are you the president of his fan base?
No. What did he? Someone just
I'm going
asked
through what people have rated.
Okay.
This is a pretty good rating, like from our fans, from our viewers here. Maybe an 8, 7 out of 10, 5 out of 10 from Roberto Rodriguez. What was the last movie or TV show you enjoyed in the MCU?
We are cute.
Real question between me and you, hermano. 8.5 out of 10, 10 out of 10. Roy, best MCU for you, my brother. 8 out of 10, 8, 6 out of 10, 6 out. Sean Sook didn't even watch it. He's just
Sean Sook, did you watch 8 Bengals?
Andrew, 7 out of 10. Overall, I'll give it 7.5. Dangles out of 10. What's
Dangle
up, Max?
my Bengals.
Max is one of the people that did you watch the ending? He was ready to talk about X-Men. I'd go 7.5, 8 out of 10. Bruno and Kamala scenes 10 out of 10. 10. Matt loved it. Marvin gives it a 10. What did you guys rate Thor? Oh, it wasn't good. It could.
Yeah, you should go watch that.
I don't know.
And the thing is about Thor is even after we did our show, it still was on my mind, but not in a good way.
Oh yeah, we talked a little bit about that.
And I've watched some things since then. A lot of great points were made. And I asked Omar, I said, do I think The Dark World's a better movie than Love and Thunder?
I'm gonna slap some sense into you.
So now
you and Oddfell can review Thor: Dark World because I think that's her favorite movie. Yes. I look forward to all the Marvels meeting up now. Have you girls watched the show? My daughters watched the first 3 episodes. They haven't seen any after that. Star Wars comes back. I loved it more than I expected. 7 out of 10. I agree. It was out of 12 episode series. No, sir. 8 out of 10. Good, fun show. 8.5 out of 10. So, honestly, you guys seem to have really liked the show. I haven't seen that many low scores. I've seen lower scores for Thor.
Yes, we
did this show.
Well, I think the show at least stayed consistent with the characterization of who Kamala is going to be, where you get a really good sense. And that's the great thing about making a TV show, right? You have a long time to...
Wait, what is happening? I'll join you in on, Phil. Team Dark World. What is happening? No,
I don't know. Y'all
guys,
watch Love and Thunder. It's not a.
where are
That's
you all
not that
coming
much.
from?
That's not that hot of a take, guys. If you watch the
No,
movie.
it's a hot take that Thor: Dark World is a good movie. Where are you guys?
No, I'm saying
from?
better than Love and Thunder. That's my hot take.
Now, here's a good question. Is it worth the watch if I've not been a fan of Phase 4 as a whole? I feel like this show is kind of a symbolism of what Phase 4 has been. You feel like they don't know where they're going, and they're kind of making up things as they're going along. And you have some good points. There's some high points. And then you have some low, like, why would they go do this? And I'm talking about the entire Phase 4.
Yeah, but that's
feels
not to
like-
say that the show itself isn't worth the at least
Right.
checking it out.
I think of this show kind of like what makes books like Invincible or Ultimate Spider-Man work. It's your character that is a human that just happens to find powers that she doesn't know anything about. So I strongly suggest watching this. You don't need to have watched any of Phase 4 or enjoy any of it.
I really like that. My take is not that hot. I'm just letting you know. Look, Matt.
You need to stop.
Matt doesn't hate Dark World. Ooh, Bruce says Love and Thunder is barely better than Dark World. So my hot take, I guess, is not as hot.
Where are all these? Okay, thank you, Roberto Rodriguez, for putting some sense out there. The best part of Dark World is, yes, sir.
Okay, but I like Blas.
Yes,
you have a great take on the switcheroo. It would have been cool if Zachary Levi showed up instead of Brie Larson.
Zachary Levi. Oh, Captain Marvel.
Or well,
that's good. That's good. I like that.
Yeah, that would have been awesome. Yes.
It's going to be interesting to see where Captain Marvel is now compared to like Captain Marvel Phase 2. Was she part of Phase 3?
Technically, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
With Thor: Love and Thunder, I had already heard some things, so I just went into it. And I went into Miss Marvel, so I really enjoyed Thor. Okay, cool. They need Willow Wilson back on Miss Marvel. Her Poison Ivy series is great so far.
That's awesome.
Willow Wilson was great. I thought, guess it helps to have created the character. But I mean, she introduced a lot of elements into that comic. Making it up as they go along. Next, you'll tell me new Star Wars trilogy didn't have a solid roadmap. Dude, they killed her. Wait, I don't want to spoil what.
Anyways,
I'm sure everybody has seen it. They killed the character because the actor was like, yeah, I think that's the way the character should go. How are you going to let the actor decide how what happens to the character?
I know. It's a shame.
Own your characters. Just finished the series for an old, dry Marvel fart like me, not you, man. The story was not for me. It was rated very well, but for more of a younger fan base, I believe.
And that's
absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, this is a show that I would love, like, as my daughter gets older. Like, we've watched it with her. I mean, she's 6, so it's still, a lot of animated stuff is still her thing, or has to be very Disney-fied, like Disney zombies or the Descendants. It's like that is her thing. But yeah, this is a great thing. I wish I had when I was 13, 14 years old. I'll say that.
Omar, remember the Thor we had when we were kids, made for TV? Yeah, I said that. I said that in my review. I said, but you all have to remember, it's crazy that we have 4 Thor movies. But when I was a kid, we had the Trial of the Incredible Hulk, and we had like a Viking Thor.
You had 4 Thor movies and 4 Avengers movies with Thor in it. Like, that's a lot of Thor.
Okay, so yeah, I do want to talk a little bit more about this mutant introduction to the MCU and being a huge X-Men fan, what it means to me. Because I've had people text me, and including my brother, who were really upset, and I'm like, I didn't know you guys were that big X-Men fans, but okay, let's talk about this.
So what's their main? Because I'm not entirely. Yes, thank you.
Thank you for the super chat. No Dark World slander here. Without that, we don't get emotional, Loki, because of Frigga. Also, 7 out of 10 for me. I liked it more than I expected. Much love. Much love back to you, my brother. Thank you.
For me,
you mentioned that too. you mentioned the thing about Loki and Dark World too.
Well, I mentioned just like with the difference between Love and Thunder and Thor: The Dark World is, yeah, they brought Loki in, and I know they start giving him more to do because the character was so beloved. But just him and what made Ragnarok even what I think worked so well is just how he and Thor or Chris Hemsworth played off each other, right, as brothers. And he didn't really have that kind of antagonist, almost straight man. Because, yeah, you know, Loki can be funny, but it was definitely more straight than Korg. I'll give you that. And they even tried to make Natalie Portman funny. It was like everyone was trying to be funny in Love and Thunder, and there was it just didn't have that same dynamic that him and Loki that kept him a little bit more grounded. So, right, that's why. There you go. My hot take for the night.
You and Oddfell can do a show together where you talk about your love for Dark World, and I'll step out. And
I really want to go back and watch my review of that.
I think you gave it a 2.
No, I did not.
Yo, Thick Rogue, man, had Apocalypse almost on his knees. All right. The only thing I want to see in an X-Men movie is some respect for Scott Summers' name. All right. I've always said that. I think like the problem that people had with Scott Summers was the bad writing. It's what happens, right? You get a bad writer in there, doesn't know how to deal with this particular character. But you get some good writers in there, man. They do wonders with that character. So yeah, I got some messages from a lot of my viewers. Some of y'all are here tonight about my thoughts on this. Some people thought it was a smack to the face. Some people were like, really? This is how we're going to introduce X-Men into the Marvel universe? Some people were like, man, you all thought more than I did. They were like, is she going to be like, my brother was like, she better not take Kitty Pryde's place. And then somebody was like really upset. Like, is she going to join the X-Men? So that means that there's not going to be like, so in the way that I saw the scene, and I went back and watched it a few times because I'm like, okay, I thought I imagined the guitar riff of X-Men theme in there. It almost feels like he's telling her that she's got a mutation. Now, to me, that leaves it open as it still could be Inhuman and could be activated by the Terrigen Mist, right?
Well, because she's still going to be in Marvel, the Marvels. They're going to be in space where the Inhumans exist. So there's still a way to tie that in. That's and
it very well could change things later.
Yeah.
I mean, in my eyes, I wished, yes, of course, the first time that we ever hear the word mutant in the MCU, it would have been cool to either Apocalypse or Namor, right? In the rumored upcoming, like he's supposed to be playing in the upcoming Wakanda movie, Black Panther 2. I just Namor being the first mutant and Apocalypse being the oldest mutant, so that would have been really cool. So I get it. I mean, I've come to accept that everything is different when it comes to these movies. I mean, I talked about this, and I don't want to spoil exactly what happened in case some people didn't watch it. The Moon Knight show, they added elements of Bill Mantlow's run on the Incredible Hulk, which were original ideas by Barry Windsor Smith. So they switched up a lot of what made Moon Knight in the comics. And I feel like they kind of did that with Kamala in this particular show, especially if you're talking about mutation, if you're talking about, is she the first mutant? So,
I don't know. I think it's the first time we're going to hear the word mutant mentioned. That doesn't necessarily mean that it's all going to center around her. I think all they're doing, and that's why if people are worried it's all going to center around her, I don't think that's the case. I think they're just introducing the idea into the MCU so that if they create an X-Men movie, all of a sudden out the gate, that we've already had hints that mutations can exist, and then explore it in a X-Men movie where maybe they're blaming the blip and everything that happened causing the snap causing it mutations in some people and things like that. So I don't necessarily think she's going to be the catalyst that starts everything. Does that make sense? I think if they're just trying to drop that hint for us as fans, we're going to introduce mutants, guys. We're going to do it. But
I think
right?
Okay, so the only thing that kind of makes me worried is that you talked about this, and we all know that we have a big convention coming up in a week, and that is the San
Mhm.
Diego Comic Con.
Oh yeah.
The San Diego Comic Con has become less about comics, more about movies and TV shows. And San Diego Comic Con is usually the place where they go and unveil, like, hey, your first trailer, your first look at the cast of Avengers, whatever. I feel like they had to throw that in there because there is going to be some kind of announcement at San Diego Comic Con, whether it's the future of X-Men, whether it's a teaser of an X logo on, as the last thing, kind of like the Fantastic Four logo that showed up the very last thing, 2019, was it? When they were
Yep.
talking about Phase 4, because
Yep.
they introduced Blade, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
it kind of makes me worry that, okay, is that why we did this? Because that kind of takes away from the show. It just makes it one of these things that, yeah, let's just write it as we go along. Let's just, it has to fit a narrative. Let's fit the narrative of Marvels. Let's fit the narrative of the upcoming Mutants announcement we have. We'll just put it all together, and nobody's going to remember Shang-Chi and the Ten Rings and what it has ties to that. Or does it have ties to Atlantis? So I mean that's kind of what I worry about. If that's what they're doing, then that's kind of crappy, because I like the idea, and it's not just me, nitpicking, because this is just something we've gotten accustomed to.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not my fault that they wrote some really strong Phase 1 movies connecting each other, and that's, as fans of movies, we're 29 movies in, and how many freaking shows? It's what they gave us and what we're used to. So if what we're used to and what they gave us changes all of a sudden because they're like, we're going to let everybody have their own vision. Everybody can have their own plan. We really don't know what the hell Phase 4 is going to be. Then that, you're going to make people upset. People are going to lose interest. This is what I was worried about if they got too big for the bridges, as they say here in Kentucky, that, they just get cocky and be like, yeah, we're bulletproof. People are still watching our crappy movies. We didn't pay. Like, I always use this as an example, and I know people love it, but I wasn't a big fan of Ant-Man and Wasp. I felt like Ant-Man and Wasp was one of those movies I was talking about where they didn't even have to try, and people still went to go see it.
Yep.
Still loved it. Still highly praised. And I thought I was the only one that was like, oh man, that movie was not good. Yeah. But I think now I'm starting to see more and more people be vocal about movies, like expectations, especially with Thor. I saw a lot of it with Doctor Strange.
Oh yeah,
I didn't have as many problems as a lot of people did with Doctor Strange, but it seems a lot more open now with Thor. Like, they're not even trying; they're just trying to make this a joke. They're kind of reverting the characters. So yeah,
and it's just,
What about you? What do you think? I mean, I know you're not the uncanny Amanda. You're the amazing Amanda. Like, what do you think about, like, if she truly is a mutant?
I mean, I don't think she's going to join the X-Men, but I think that it does plays up the opportunity for crossovers with movies, possible TV shows, depending on how they're going to take the mutants in the future. And it keeps her around longer. It keeps the mutants around. So I'm honestly okay with it, because I can separate, what's the comic books versus what the MCU is doing with their own thing. On the note about, people are being more vocal, I think Jeffrey Likes Comic asked this a couple times. Do you feel like you're getting overwhelmed by superhero content? And when it comes to the MCU, I think that we are a little bit, and that's what's somewhat leading to some of the pushback, but also because, we always used to talk early on about how great they were able to connect all the movies and make it a part of this bigger picture, just like the comics. And they've had this little thread that would run through the comics.
World building.
Yes, proper world building. But now they're going too big. And I feel like where you don't have 6 issues or a whole series with one character, a whole series, we just get one movie and then a TV show. And that's still not enough to tell these much more convoluted and bigger stories that a comic book, series would have one character with their own series telling the story, another character, and then one big team up comic that's like 6 to 10 issues or something like that. So I think it's getting a little convoluted for them to try to manage it all. Because I think there's a vision there, because Kevin Feige keeps saying there is a vision, and we're all going to be like, aha, when we finally see it. soon towards the end of phase 4.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's just really getting too convoluted for them because they're trying a lot of different things and trying it all to tie in that may not work well for them. Whereas they had kind of one thread, right? In the first phases, the first phase 1 through 4 of the original Marvel MCU. And that was the Infinity Stones and a gauntlet and Thanos, right? That was the big overarching theme that we all dealt with. Now we don't there's time travel, there's mutants, there's
well, look at like phase 4 really is setting up so many things like Kang the Conqueror, Eternals, set up the Celestials. We could have mutants. We could have. I just wish, and maybe maybe the big heads know where it's all leading, but it feels like they're kind of making it up as they go along and not having a big picture, not having an end game, if you will, is going to hurt your end product because we're going to lose interest. If your directors are doing their own thing, being whatever the hell they're doing and not tying into the big picture, then, and I know it's hard, right? I mean, that's why Joss Whedon couldn't do Avengers anymore.
Yeah.
In Age of Ultron, he was forced to add elements that
want to add.
Like Thanos. He had no idea what to do with Thanos. So luckily the Russo brothers stepped in. So yeah, I'm okay with the change because to me it felt like G. Willow Wilson, when she created the character, had the X-Men been a big part of Marvel at the time, because of the whole Fox Fox owning the rights to them, she would have been a mutant. I mean, let's face it, in the comic books, Miss Marvel would have been a mutant. But because at that time they faced away, they got rid of the Fantastic Four, the X-Men titles were canceled, no more New Mutants were being made. They made her into an Inhuman.
Yeah.
And so I don't know if we'll have Inhumans in here. I mean, is there really that much love for the Inhumans? I really have. I didn't really know anybody in my youth or in my 30s. It wasn't until I got to my 40s that I probably met people that actually like the Inhumans, and I'm like, oh, the Inhumans to me were always just like, oh, okay. But I was like that with the Eternals. I never really cared for the Eternals. So now it seems like the people that are upset are all of a sudden all this. Where the hell were you people when the Inhumans had their comics and they weren't selling? So we'll see where it leads. As far as the Captain Marvel thing, it would be really cool to see the introduction of the Negative Zone.
That would be
that's
cool.
Where Kamala was, or if that's where where Captain Marvel was fighting.
And an end credit scene of the Fantastic Four or something crazy.
I didn't dig it, Paul. I didn't dig the TV show. I watched like the first 2 episodes. But again, I'm not the biggest Inhuman fan. I did like Lockjaw, though. Who doesn't like Lockjaw?
Yeah, the Lockjaw was cute. But there were some things lacking with that series.
Oh, speaking blasphemy. But hey, man, if Paul liked it, that's all that matters.
Yeah.
The current Eternal comics are the best Eternal comics. I've said that on my overview of the first trade paperback. Neil Gaiman tried to get me into Eternals, and he couldn't do it. But
you guys know it's hard. If Neil Gaiman's one of his favorite authors, if he can't do it, I don't know who can.
Can't make me swoon over to the Eternals. I thought it was game over. But this latest run by Kieran Gillen, who's having what is it, like a big crossover with X-Men and the Inhumans and the Eternals? Yeah. Negative Zone, where everyone gives negative reviews and every Omni is out of stock.
That's awesome.
I like to see that just because that opens up the room for like more things like Annihilus, right? And the Fantastic Four that are always hanging out in the Negative Zone.
If we see those Annihilus,
which I almost wanted more than Mutants in Miss Marvel, the kind of cameo. Like somebody should have said at the end of season 1, episode 6, like, hey, your powers remind me of that stretchy guy with the 4 on his costume. That would have been nice. But instead they're like, you're a mutant. Maybe.
Well, technically, the Fantastic Four doesn't exist yet, so we're gonna see their
the bearded Jim from The Office play the role. We know they are here. But
I've heard that that's not going to be the case. There's some insider rumors that it will not be him. They've not named a new director, but
was it
they're
me?
looking
Because
at.
I said I'm good with that. I'm
I've
good with
heard they're
that.
looking at the star Penn Badgley. He is the lead in that Netflix series You. He's 36. He's young. He can do it for a while. He's got the dark hair, got the look. So I mean, he could
Okay.
be creepy, which I guess so could Mr. Fantastic sometimes,
When
depending
he's
on.
the maker, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So
Who was attached to the project at first?
John Watts from Spider-Man, which is a
Spider-Man.
shame.
Mm-hmm.
And he's gone on. So he left that production. He must have just said, "I'm done." Like this is a lot for me. And he's moved on to something else that he's doing. What else is he doing?
He might be living an easier life. I'll remember when like Ben Affleck said that writing Batman was the hardest thing he ever had to do. It drove him to drink. But then again, take that with a grain of salt. Ben Affleck also blamed his wife for his alcoholism. So I don't know if any of that is true. But I remember he said that it caused depression because, you know, he had to please the fans. He had to make sure the script was good. So I don't know. I'm sure that writing these things and creating these movies and making these movies has to be one of the hardest jobs, because when you're 29 movies in and so many TV shows into the phase or into this, you've kind of set the bar high. So, you know, people are going to be disappointed regardless. Fans are.
Exactly.
Dude, Dredd was so good. You know, it reminded me a lot of The Raid. You're talking about the new Dredd movie, right? With Carl Urban. Oh, Carl Urban. So good. And he was great in that. Never took his helmet off. It reminded me of The Raid. So here, yeah. I guess what's next for our show? I've never heard Wonder Man until I read House of M the weekend after Strange came out. I had to look him up. What are your thoughts about him? What are my thoughts about Wonder Man? I was a big fan of Wonder Man. I love the love triangle between him, Wanda, and Vision, because it is so weird. That's comics, though, right?
Yep, that's comics.
Guy that has the essence of Vision, so of course he's attracted to the same lady that Vision is attracted to. That's why they built Vision, right? Like he has those Simon feelings. I don't know how they're gonna do this in the MCU. I'm sure they're gonna leave all those elements out.
Yeah,
I was a big fan of Jeff Johnson. He was the artist on a series. Peter David got to write, and somebody else worked on, but that guy's a piece of crap, so we're not gonna say who that was. Black Panther 2 will be the 30th MCU movie. That's awesome.
That's crazy.
Dude, Cage, go watch the rest of it, buddy, and then come back and watch this review, my dude.
Yeah,
was it really that bad? The newest Mighty Morphin Power Rangers movie. Where is Leo? That's who we need.
Yeah, we haven't seen Leo in a while, but that is. I think we talked about that being our Friday show, was doing a Was It Really That Bad and bringing it back, since we kind of have a dearth of content for a little bit until August. So
what was the next thing? I thought it was was it Paper Girls that comes out soon?
Yes, that comes out. Ooh, when Paper Girls is the end of this month, I think.
Paper Girls.
I think Paper Girls comes out the end of this month. Let me check.
Do you think they will announce a Punisher?
July 29th, that's right.
July 29th. Because I want Punisher Omni reprints. I would love that. I would love you get the guy that played him in the Daredevil series and his own show.
John Bernthal, yeah.
He's great. I'd love to have him back.
I think they'll put it on Disney Plus, honestly, with the way they're going with showing. I think they're gonna, now that they have the option to keep the profile separate, they can start adding more content like that, especially if they want to keep all their Marvel stuff in one place. That's what I would do anyway.
I mean, they're putting Daredevil in. Have they moved Alias over or just Daredevil?
No, just all the Daredevil, Jessica Jones, all that stuff. So they already got it on there.
I'm sorry, not Alias. Wait, Disney Plus has Jessica Jones?
I thought it did. Well, let me check just to double check. I thought it had
July
gotten all.
29th is what Julio's saying. Paper Girls.
Yes, July 29th is when
Paper
it comes
Girls
out.
made me want to start a bike gang.
Is that what it did?
I'm excited for Paper Girls.
Yeah, Jessica Jones.
I haven't seen Answer My Q&A in a long time. Me neither.
Me neither. The
Never
Jessica
poor
Jones is
Leo.
on there.
Poor Leo. He's older now, man. He's like going to
Punisher's
parties.
on there too.
Wait, Punisher's on Disney Plus?
It's right there.
That's what's up. Let's bring the Punisher back.
So there we go. They're not going to put it up. I think they realized they can't separate them on two different streaming services.
Not a
It
good
confuses
road.
people and fans, and I'm sure Kevin Feige fought for that too.
Black Panther 2 comes out in 4 months, and we haven't seen a thing. Oh, man. I'm sure after San Diego Comic-Con.
Yeah. We will see everything.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3 wasn't really that bad. Yeah. I like all these ideas. If the MCU messes up Daredevil, that's my breaking point.
That could be
Solar Opposites Season 3 comes out today. I'm currently rereading Paper Girls. So is Melanie. She loves Paper Girls. I loved it too. Yep, they're saying Disney Plus has all of the shows. Fine, answer my Q&A. Stop it. Leo and Jack. Oh, dude, Jack had a mad crush on
Jack with something else.
Maybe you. Or me.
I think maybe it was you.
On Disney. Maybe it was me. I turned him down too many times. Gaming's Eternals was bad, but the current run is good. Worst case scenario, you see some Ezad Ribic artwork. He's great on that. So excited to see Amanda's VM shirt. Worlds Collide.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Vox Machina. Do you like that show?
Oh, I do. And I love the comic. Yes. And I also watched, a little bit of their, actual D&D adventures on YouTube. I enjoy Critical Role a lot.
Who would I give a show or movie to? Nova. That's my way to get my new Warriors show.
He wants his Nova movie. He's been saying that for a long time.
And we're getting an omnibus of the original Rich Rider, so
there we go.
Man. Leo hangs out with the rest of the turtles. Yeah. Leo is older, man. He's older. Girls. He's going to parties. He might have a car now.
That's true.
Unpopular opinion. Cloak and Dagger was a good show. I've only seen the first 2 episodes.
Yeah.
Runaways broke my heart, though. Did that show ever get good?
No, I mean, I kept watching it, but they went a really weird direction with it. They focused so much on those adults. And I guess they had a lot of episodes. And that was a show that could have really benefited from the Marvel's MCU treatment of just having like 6 episodes or 7 episodes a season, because they put so much on those. And they got great actors. Don't get me wrong. I mean, James Marsters is one of the dads, for example, on it. And they had a lot of great actors playing the adults. But man, you wanted to see more of the kids. And it was just a back and forth constantly. It really, it was hard to keep watching after. I did watch season 2. I think I watched season 3. I did.
I was out, man. Love Miss Marvel so much. Our buddy Kenny loved it. That Predator prequel prayer, man. I pray that we get some good Predator content again, because I love Predator 1. And I'm actually a fan of Predator 2. But everything after that, so much garbage. I'm hopeful for Sandman. I will say that. And part of me feels guilty for almost being excited, because Sandman to me is so precious. It doesn't belong in anything outside of comics. I don't need a radio play. Even the radio, or what is it called? The audiobook.
The audiobook, yeah.
Even with my girl in it playing Death. No. I like it just to be a comic. But the TV, the show looks good, and Gaiman himself casted Morpheus, so it's going to be interesting. Are either of you going to San Diego Comic-Con? Not this year. No. I'll be at New York Comic-Con this year.
He will be.
Maybe next year. Yeah, Amanda and I were talking about attending some cons again. So
we were.
It'd be really fun. We had a blast in Chicago.
That was so much
crush
fun.
on everyone in the NMC channel. That's what's up.
Thanks,
a real fan.
Yeah.
Amanda, bring the gun suit back, and Jack will come back. Jack!
Amanda's got to lose the baby weight still. Then she'll bring the gun suit back. We're not ready for that action.
I'm going to see the Ray-Ban in theater. You're good.
Oh, are you? I'm interested to see how you think about it, seeing it in theater, Matt.
I didn't know it was available in theater, honestly.
Yeah, well, you clearly didn't watch that trailer long enough that appeared before Thor, when it said in select theaters and on Netflix, August, whatever.
Did I say this? Are you taking things out of context?
Yeah. We do need something to watch for Friday. You know why I like the idea of Ant-Man and the Wasp? A, I don't mind rewatching it, and B, I already own it. So it wouldn't be that much of a stretch for me to pull it
It's
up.
on Disney Plus.
But
Everybody
I also own
owns
it before Disney Plus was a thing. So there we go.
Okay.
I can watch all the deleted scenes. I can watch the blooper reel with Paul Rudd being a fantastic human being. So I'm
Got it.
game if everyone else wants to watch it.
Really?
Yeah.
What? That was Phase 3, wasn't it?
It was. It was towards the end because it was right before.
Oh, it was after Infinity War. What
it
a
was
weird
one. It was like it was
movie to have
in
after
between
Infinity
Endgame
War.
and Infinity War. You're like, where is this going? Yeah. Same with the Captain Marvel. Same thing. Like, what happened?
We're getting a Daredevil Miller and Klaus omnibus reprint. Yes, sir, we are. Tevon saying Runaways wasn't that bad. Not great, but not terrible. It's Runaways show set in the MCU. If so, they'd have two versions of Tina Minota. Wait, is it? No, I don't think it is. I don't think those shows count. By Omar, did you check out DC Showcase Animation? Blue Beetle Commandi Losers came out 2 months ago. Really good. I'll see you Saturday, buddy, and I have not seen it yet. Who wins the streaming wars in September? House of Dragons on HBO, Rings of Powers on Prime, and Andor is on Disney Plus. And nobody's talking about Willow. Where's Willow? When is Willow?
That's like not till December. That's gonna be way out there.
House of Dragons.
The nice thing, so House of Dragons, it does well. Rings of Power is also gonna be a weekly show, just like The Boys, right? Because Amazon's gonna keep to that format. They're all gonna keep to that weekly format. The only thing is Andor is not going to show up on the same day as the rest of them, right? Mm-hmm. Andor is going to be, I believe, a Wednesday show because so far they premiered like any Star Wars or Marvel on a Wednesday for the most part.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So then Andor will be 3 episodes? No. What's the one on Amazon? Rings of Power? Are they doing 3 episode drop or are they doing
good question. I don't know. I don't know if they'll drop 3 episodes like they do with like The Boys and stuff.
Just about everything, it seems like.
Yeah, they'll probably do that to get everyone interested. Now, House of Dragons for sure will be first episode. That's because remember, they still have their cable that they have to keep with because they have an HBO cable channel still. So they'll still drop House of Dragons Sunday nights. Then I'll get to watch John Oliver the next day. So don't watch John Oliver that late at night.
So but to answer Bert's question, who wins? What are you most excited for?
Where those stalwart Game of Thrones fans are. Are they ready to see a prequel set way before the time of the events of the original Game of Thrones series? Are they still there?
Has it been long enough for you to have forgotten
what they did to you at that final season? That's gonna be the big question. Rings of Power.
That's the big one that they spent millions of dollars on, right?
They bought that. They spent a lot of money on Rings of Power. So Amazon better be doing everything they can to bring us Tolkien heads, Tolkienites, Tolkien nerds, I don't know, bringing us back into the fold. So hopefully they're doing what they need to do. It's hard to say. I mean, Game of Thrones is the modern, that's not the modern day Lord of the Rings. I guess it could be, but with way more sex and murder and other misfortunes.
If I had to answer that, I think for me, I'm most excited about Rings of Power.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about it, but it's set in that world that I love so much. I fell in love with as a kid, and I love those Lord of the Ring movies. I don't talk about the Hobbit movies that much at all, but the Lord of the Rings movies were just beautifully done. So I mean, it could be good. I don't know. I haven't. There was like a teaser trailer for it. That's all I've seen.
Yeah, but
we've been dancing around Power Rangers for years. Let's just do it.
Have we been dancing around Power Rangers?
Dude, I'm gonna when we decide to do Power Rangers, we'll take a poll. Do we watch the new Power Rangers movie or the original Power Rangers movie from?
That's a great question. With like Jason David Frank and all them.
Wow, look at you remembering. Yeah,
Well, I used to watch that in the morning before the bus when I was in elementary school. So
the only bad thing about Ant-Man and the Wasp is that it doesn't have a villain. Yeah, what's his name from Justified, and he was calling Kang the Conqueror on the phone at the end of that movie. Remember?
I thought he was calling. I don't know still who he was calling.
He was calling Thanos.
It's like Thanos.
This is a good question. When is Invincible season 2 coming out?
I don't know.
I don't think they've announced that.
They have not.
We're never gonna get MCU Rick Jones, huh? No.
Probably
But
not.
I don't know. Anything's possible, man. We got like MCU. Who was it that I was surprised that showed up in Phase 4? And I was like, really? We're gonna go there? That's obscure. Willow, baby, get your acorns ready, Minties. They're all be trolls, and you know I hate trolls.
Oh my goodness.
Hello, Taylor, and thank you so much for the super chat.
Yes, thank you for the super chat, Taylor. All right.
Morbius 2 teaser at San Diego Comic-Con. What?
I don't know who'd come back for that, honestly. Like, Sony doesn't have that much money. Spider-Man did well, but they still share the money with Disney. So, yeah.
Anything else? Anything else we need to talk about, Amanda, before we wrap up for tonight?
No.
And what are we doing Friday? Let's decide now.
We on Sunday we said we were going to give him a poll, but we could just go ahead and say Ant-Man and the Wasp, just so we could have a chance to let Omar talk about it, because I know he's excited. Or
we decided this.
Or okay. I'll have Omar put up a poll tomorrow. You guys can vote on it, and then whatever it is, we'll watch it and talk about it on Friday.
Okay.
That sounds good. And nothing on Ezra Watch, Griffin X. Sorry about that. I have not been keeping up with them at all.
Okay, let's see here. Do you think Thor 4 plot was merged with an original plot idea for Doctor Strange 2? I don't think so. If it was cut. Go watch Ant-Man and Wasp and hate it as much as I do, or love it as much as Amanda.
I never said I loved it, but I don't hate it as you do.
You can't hate on Paul Rudd because he's America's sweetheart. He replaced Meg Ryan somewhere. And what's her face? Not Drew Barrymore. No poll necessary. We're watching Willow. Was it that bad? Ang Lee's Hulk. We never did do that one. We did do Thor Dark World. We did a lot of bad movies.
Oh, we did Incredible Hulk, but we didn't do Ang Lee's with Eric Bana Hulk.
Yeah. And wait for Omar's change of heart for Paul Rudd. What if I love it this time around?
He's already had a change of heart when he saw how he was so good.
That was between friends. What are you doing?
Nope, he admitted it. He admitted it in a Facebook.
That was a private chat between friends. What are you doing? Morbius. Wait. I gotta read this. Morbius is okay. Felt like it was 10 years late, but it was okay. I guess the internet needed to bully something once again. The internet helped people, them to open the theaters back up and people go see.
I think it was ironic. I don't think it was
2 more times, but it was the internet memes that made it happen.
And they were ironic internet memes. It wasn't the thing that somebody didn't get.
Move over, Chris Evans. Paul Rudd is America's smart ass. Did you ever do the original, the 70s Doctor Strange? That one?
Oh, wow.
No, we never did.
2016.
We didn't do that one. Dude, Conan was so bad.
I've actually seen that movie, yeah.
I went to the theater and it was. I don't remember any of that movie. Have you seen?
Like, I should watch that with like The Rock's Hercules. Like, I feel like those are on the same level of like a film.
I think I'd take that Conan over The Rock's Hercules. The Rock's Hercules was so bad. Yeah. Anything else before we sign off tonight, Panda?
Nope, I think that's everything. So thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. And remember to follow us on all of our social media channels at NearMintCon. Remember to check us out on Spreadshop to get some cool near mint condition merchandise. And also check us out on Patreon for $1 a month or more. You get awesome benefits. Get you closer to us. Like, I'm going to be joining Melanie for a book club this month that our patrons get to do. I finished Wonder Woman Dead Earth in like last night. That was it. Done. Finished
excellent read. Excellent
I can't wait to talk about it. Yeah, so you get cool benefits like that, extra time with us, and also supporting our channel and letting us do what we do best. And of course, if it's classy and cool, it must be in our mint. Good journey, everyone. We will be back Friday with Was It Really That Bad? Probably throw up a poll tomorrow, so be on the lookout.
Oh, we're doing a poll. Okay. I'm sorry. I thought it was decided.
Omar's going to do a poll.
Okay. We did the 90s cap. We did that one. We
did. Oh, yeah. Do you still have that guy? Wait before we leave. We got to show that guy. You got
the Melanie deleted.
Oh,
no.
How did you leave my Kenobi?
Why do I have that? Next time, baby. Next time.